Okay, so in this video we'll walk through example 2.15, letter B, where it's asking us to find the area bounded by the curve of y equals inverse tan of x, the x-axis between x equals 0 and x equals 1. So I've already sketched a graph of the area that I'm meant to be finding, and that's the pink area, and I haven't really assessed mentally what I'm doing, so I write down I'm going to integrate with a lower boundary of 0 to 1 of the inverse tan of x. And I'm stuck. I can't integrate that. So therefore, I need to think of a more creative way to be able to determine the area. So this is where I'm going to use a rectangle, which I'm going to highlight on my sketch in green. So I'm going to find the area of the rectangle, which is 1 by pi on 4. So that area is obviously pi on 4. And since I can't integrate the inverse tan, what I'm going to then integrate is I need to find the area of this blue region that I'm outlining in blue. I'm going to fill it in, highlight it. So if I can find the area of that blue region, I can subtract it from the rectangle, and Bob's your uncle. So, sorry about that. I'm going to subtract off. Right, which I've highlighted above in blue. So I'm going to do so by using the inverse function, in that since I've got y equals the inverse tan of x, the inverse function of that is tan of y equals x. So I'm going to integrate with respect to y. So if I look at my sketch above, I'm integrating from 0 to a y value of pi on 4. I'm integrating the curve that's tan of y dy. And this is where it gets tricky, because I have to recall other integration where tan is actually the same thing as sine of y on cosine of y dy. And I gotta know all my different rules pretty well, because I might be looking at my reference sheet. It might pop out at me that I'm working with the f dash of x on top of f of x. And once I recognize that, I'm like, the derivative of the denominator is negative sign. So I can make that negative sign as long as I also have a negative out front. So therefore, when I go to integrate, I've got negative ln of the denominator, which is cosine of y. I'm going to evaluate that from 0 to pi on 4. And I've run out of space, so I'm going to put it below the homework. So therefore that's going to be negative. I'm going to stick that in front because I'm always making sign mistakes. So ln of the cosine of pi on 4, the cosine of pi on 4 is root 2 on 2, minus the ln of cosine of 0. The cosine of 0 is 1. So I've got minus, or a negative, ln of root 2 on 2. Which really, when I think about what I've got the area of the rectangle, which was pi on 4, minus, I'm laughing because I've made a mistake in my notes, minus a negative is actually plus ln of root 2 on 2. And therefore, that's your area of the pink region, which we were meant to be finding in the end. I don't know what the decimal value is of that to compare it to what you might have in your solutions that you posted on Canvas. If you want to know the decimal value, simply calculate it and see if perhaps your decimal value is the same as this exact value that I've generated here.